Gentlemen and female gentlemen, now that Disney has absolutely kabloobied me in regards to making content on the Clone Wars, we are not going to be continuing that. They're getting copyright blocked worldwide. I'm going to see if I can find a workaround, or I'm just going to upload what I've already done to Patreon. And that's life! So it is time to dive into the lore here. As you know, I will consume all lore. Apparently, how Order 66 became the best scene in Star Wars. See, this is a very interesting concept to me, and I know Shafrillis is definitely gonna do this shit justice. Like, bro's actually gonna do good stuff. However, when I watched the original Star Wars and saw Order 66, it really wasn't such a huge moment for me. It's like, okay, all these Jedi that I've never seen before are dying. All right, whatever, who cares? But apparently with the introduction of the Clone Wars and other media, it became a heartbreaking masterpiece and one of the best scenes in television history. So, I don't know. I am ready, baby. We are jumping right into the deep end. Here's how Order 66 became the best scene in Star Wars.
Happy May the 4th, gamers!
Hey!
Today I'd like to talk about the most wholesome scene in all of Star Wars.
Oh, I can't even do that sarcastically. I can't even do that sarcastically. And to all the people in the audience that are gonna say, Nux, you're gonna get spoiled on the Clone Wars. Guys, what if I already told you that someone in my chat literally spoiled that? Someone in my Twitch chat literally spoiled the fucking big Clone Wars twist. Would that make you unhappy? Well, it should, because it made me unhappy.
Order 66. Edit, I just found out what Order 66 actually is. How do I delete my previous sentence? For those who don't know, Order 66 is a moment in the Star Wars canon that strikes fear into the hearts of all Star Wars fans.
Listen, it was definitely scary and impactful, but I didn't really take it as like such a super goober awesome scene. But God, after starting the Clone Wars and seeing how all these clones have their whole lives, these whole loving lives and character development, they each have their own stories. Dude, I just watched the episode where Heavy died. Actually heartbreaking shit. Actually heartbreaking shit. You don't understand. Do we take prisoners? I don't. And then he blows himself up. It was one of the most incredible moments I've ever seen. Like, you feel for these clones. How is it possible that the clones just turn around and kill these people? Like, that is actual tragedy.
It's the moment where Palpatine, right after luring Anakin to the dark side and getting his face all puffy via Force lightning,
his face looks like, look, does that look like a testicle? Bro. Master Windu has transformed my face into a giant scrotum. I am anger.
Right after luring Anakin to the dark side and getting his face all puffy via Force lightning, contacts all the clone troopers across the galaxy and initiates a top secret order that forces them all to kill the Jedi. Within
Commander Cody, how did he do this?
Moments, the vast majority of the Jedi Order is wiped out in one fell swoop.
Bro, literally from their closest friends. That's tragic.
All thanks to the Sinister Senate. It's one of the most important moments in the entire Star Wars canon. But
I am Darth Testicle.
But I have to say, as someone who's been a Star Wars fan my entire life, it didn't really feel all that impactful when it was first shown in Revenge of the Sith.
Bro is spitting, because I didn't know any of these Jedi. I didn't know any of these clones. It was nameless characters killing nameless characters. I say this, I get literally crucified online. I'm like, oh yeah, when I watched the Clone Wars, I wasn't super touched by that Order 66. It just didn't. And then everyone's literally jumping up my butthole like Ant-Man did to Thanos in the Nux canon of what happened in Avengers Endgame.
Here's the thing. The main tragedy of Revenge of the Sith's story is Anakin's fall to the dark side.
Yes!
And the fact that he would go to such dark places and betray his friends and family.
Bro, when Obi-Wan said, "You are the chosen one! You are my brother, Anakin!" When he said that shit, bro, actual heartbreak. But this, come on! Also, the younglings deserved it, I guess.
Family in the process.
Fuck those kids.
Within
don't know. Whoa. This isn't a Dr. Disrespect stream, okay? Whoa, that came out all wrong.
In the context of Revenge of the Sith story as it's presented solely in the movie, Order 66 feels like more of a cleanup job for the writing. A way to explain how the Jedi Order spread out across the galaxy.
Right? Think about it. Just for a second. And it will change everything. Somehow, the Jedi are really strong and powerful and all that shit at the end of the original trilogy. However, we know that there's this massive downfall situation. We know the fact that the Jedi are all wiped out by the time the actual original trilogy shows up. How did this happen? Order 66, plot gimmick. That's how I always understood it. Until I started actually liking some of these Jedi and liking these clones through my lore dives. The lore dives ruined me.
Was wiped out, and why only Obi-Wan and Yoda remain. It's a good scene, thanks in large part to John Williams' excellent score, but on its own, it doesn't really elicit much emotional reaction from me. And I feel like that's blasphemous to say, so let me explain further. Pretend for a second that it's 2005.
All right.
Revenge of the Sith has just come out in theaters.
Absolute banger. I watched it in theaters. I absolutely loved it.
And you're watching it. You see this guy pilot?
Yeah, bro, who the fuck is this guy? Everyone's like, no, Plo Koon, Plo Koon. And I'm like, what are you, what the fuck's a Plo Koon? What is this random dude? You never even spoke in Star Wars. You care that this guy dies? Then I start to learn about the Jedi a lot more. Start to learn how he was the best fighter pilot in the Jedi Order. Start to learn about how he used to spar with Master Yoda and was one of the only Jedi to ever beat him in a sparring match. You start to learn more and more about Plo Koon, an actual goat, a good guy, friends with Ahsoka, nice character, buddies with his clones, doesn't treat them as subordinates but treats them as friends. Then you start to be like, oh shit, this man just died in like a second, right? That's tragic shit.
In a starship. Oh no, he got shot down. I mean, that's kind of sad, but also, who was that guy?
Exactly, I didn't know that man's name.
Oh yeah, he was in the background in the other prequels. Oh no, it's the blue lady. She was also that person in the background in the other movies. And now she's dead.
God damn.
Man, that's rough.
Wait a second, wait a second. Hold on.
In the other movies.
I always saw this scene of her dying as mega cringe, but she's literally here.
Now
she's
dead.
Shot by all of her clones, and she's just like ah, and she's just looking up, looking around all lazily, looking up. But wait a second, you start to realize something.
Also that person in the background in the other movies. And
she sensed animosity and hatred, right? She sensed hatred. She sensed danger. But she trusted her clones so much, she didn't even look at them. She's scanning the eye, she's eyeing the tree line. She's looking for where this invader would come from because she sensed this hatred and this threat against her life. She's scanning the trees because she can't even imagine the idea that these guys would shoot her.
And now she's
still looking around. She's looking around the entire time. Like, where are these things coming from? She didn't even realize. And it was only once she got shot that she was like, wow, betrayal. Holy fuck, I never realized that. That is sad as shit.
Oh man, that's rough, buddy. Now the guy with the pointy head is...
Okay, everyone in chat's saying, she's dead but still would. All of you guys, get the fuck out of here.
Dead, man. Oh well, I guess. I don't really know these people. It's 2005. There's no long-ass show dedicated to fleshing out the individual members of the Jedi Council who die here.
Nor are there great lore dives for me to consume. That's right, baby. Your boy is here to consume all lore. See, now I know that Plo Koon invented his own type of force lightning. I didn't know that from watching the movies.
So, like, I don't know, it's sad that this long-standing institution is getting destroyed and that people are dying, but I don't really know them, so it kind of loses some of its emotional impact. Sure, the score is excellent, and Yoda's reaction to these deaths is kind of sad.
Damn, wouldn't it be crazy if in the Acolyte, if there was like a Sith, for example, like, you know, like 100 years before the prequels, if there was a Sith, like, that killed out like 10 Jedi at the same time, you'd think we would get a reaction
emotional
like that, right?
impact. Sure, the score is excellent, and Yoda's reaction to these...
You think we'd get some sort of this when the Acolyte Sith guy kills him, but no, that doesn't happen.
Deaths is kind of sad.
There were no Sith for 1,000 years. There were no Sith for 1,000 years. That's just a fact.
But it's not quite as emotionally affecting as Anakin's turn to the dark side.
Yeah, that was definitely the emotional climax of the movie, for sure. 100%. You are my brother, Anakin! I loved you! Right? That scene? Oh, fuck. That brings me to tears every time. But Order 66, in retrospect, is one of the most tragic scenes in media history.
Say what you will about the acting and the directing and whatnot, I certainly
oh no
have. But ultimately, it's sad that Anakin is turning his back on Obi-Wan because we know these characters and we may have grown attached to them because they were the focus of the prequel trilogy. These other nameless, dialogueless Jedi are not.
That's not true. He had dialogue. He did. This guy over here, Ki-Adi-Mundi, he had dialogue. Remember when he said, "But there have been no Sith for a millennium." Right? Or the Sith have been extinct for a millennium. Right? He said that. That was the one thing that he said in Star Wars, and they literally fucking cucked him with the Acolyte. You believe that?
And yes, I know that they had established names at this point, you don't have to tell me. It's just the fact that they never mentioned their names in the entire trilogy. You know what other characters in this scene we don't know at all? The clones.
True! I always looked at the clones as like droids, except they were bioorganic. Bioorganic droids. Nameless, just generic-ass killing machines that who cares if they die? And then I just watched a couple episodes of the Clone Wars. Bro, Heavy's death. Holy shit. Bro, Domino Squad. The Rex, dude. Rex, Commander Cody, like the GOATs. These guys were awesome. They had aspirations and character.
In fact, it's actually kind of hilarious in hindsight how unimportant the clones are to the movies they appear in. In Attack of the Clones, they act as a plot device, a mysteriously funded army that the Jedi can use during the Clone Wars that can also eventually betray them in Revenge of the Sith.
Right? It really does feel like a plot device in the movies.
Where they're also used as a plot device that kills the Jedi Order and then becomes the Empire's army for a bit. I guess they were just evil the whole time, because they execute Order 66 without question and kill—
I just thought they were just following orders. It's like, oh yeah, we're just clones. We're just soldiers. Soldiers follow orders. He's the commander. We follow the orders. And it was like, come on, bro. How can you do this to these people? Do you have no, like, actual heart? Do you have no heart?
The Jedi they served under for 3 years. Well, that's great. I mean, I guess it's still kind of a betrayal, but it's a betrayal that practically non-existent characters are performing on other practically non-existent characters. With the exceptions of Obi-Wan and Yoda, who survive anyway, so it's not a huge deal. Once again, it's a good scene, but more so for the music and how it advances the plot.
Yeah, it was a good scene. It was an impactful ass great scene, but it really didn't have that emotional core the first time I watched it. I just recently, and by recently I mean like a few days ago, rewatched Order 66, and it hit me so differently. Like, it literally was a complete 180. I was sitting on the toilet, taking a shit, like I do whenever I watch a good YouTube video. And what do? I say, hey, I wonder if Order 66 is gonna hit different. I pull up Order 66, and I was without words. Tense as fuck. Maybe because I was taking a shit. But I was, like, I couldn't believe it. God, like, these people, they were their friends. They were characters. The heartbreak was palpable. Characters like Kit Fisto, well, he didn't die in Order 66, but like he died a second earlier.
Not really because of any investment in the characters. The betrayal here just feels
right. Like you just see it. This
not
scene,
really because
right. Obi-Wan shows up over here. He's like, oh hey, Commander Cody, how are you doing? And he's like, hey General, did you drop something? He gives him his lightsaber. He runs away. He gets the call and he's like, blast him. Heartless shit. How does this happen?
In the characters. The betrayal here just feels underdeveloped because the characters involved in it aren't developed in the slightest. So how come when I watch this scene nowadays, it actually makes me cry? In recent years, Order 66 has had somewhat of a renaissance in Star Wars media. Not only has the original scene in Revenge of the Sith been enhanced with new context and information, courtesy of the Clone Wars, but we've also gotten to see Order 66 from way more perspectives than we've ever had before. And it's happened to a lot more characters we've grown emotionally attached to over the years. And it's been presented using much more compelling storytelling and directing techniques. It's gone from a mildly sad thing that just kind of happened as a backdrop to Anakin's fall to the dark side and Palpatine's rise to power, to the single most heartbreaking event in the entire Star Wars canon.
I don't know, but listen, well, I don't have the full, this is why we're doing the lore dive. I am not fully familiar with the entire lore dive. So your boy is going to do that right now. As you know, I'm consuming all lore. From Warhammer to Star Wars, your boy is consuming all lore. All lore shall be consumed. God, I knew it was impactful, okay? I knew that the more context is gonna make it crazier, but the best scene in Star Wars?
But how did we get here? How did this small 4-minute scene in Revenge of the Sith become the basis for some of the best Star Wars stories out there? Well, before we can talk about the new iterations of Order 66, we have to talk about the show that laid the groundwork for the power of this moment.
All right, Clone Wars.
The Clone Wars Wars.
Yeah!
Patrick and
I do love Star the Clone Wars Wars. As you can tell by the way it's written, Star the Clone Wars Wars. That's just a fact.
Doing a retrospective on the entire series.
Oh, shit, okay. All right. Dude, the 10,000 likes, and we'll maybe do his Clone Wars retrospective of the entire series, because I'm getting copyright cucked by fucking Disney. Let's go.
So we were, and still are, gonna cover all this stuff eventually. But it's still worth analyzing a ton of this show's brilliance here. One of the best aspects of Clone Wars is how it fleshes out the key players of the Order 66 scene.
God damn. That's really the whole goal. I feel like the Clone Wars' entire goal is just to make you cry when it comes to Order 66. It's kind of interesting, right? Every single character that gets fleshed out is literally to make Order 66 hit harder. And tee up future Disney shit, I guess.
And turns them into actual characters. I'll admit, I don't think we ever saw Speeder Bike Lady in the show. And yes, I know her name is Stas Ali, you don't have to tell me. But
I didn't know that.
other Jedi in this scene become actual characters. Ki-Adi-Mundi and Ayla Secura both get arcs in this show where we get to see what their personalities are like and get a little attached to them. And yeah, we knew Ki-Adi-Mundi was very adamant about stopping the droid attack on the Wookiees, but we never really knew much of this guy's actual personality.
True! The only thing we know about this guy is like, oh, we should definitely stop the droid attack on the Wookiees. Like, I'm not gonna feel attached to this guy! Bro, his head looks like a penis and I didn't even find him interesting in the original.
Getting to actually see him playfully join Anakin and Ahsoka's game over who killed the most droids is a cute detail that adds to his character and makes his death a little sadder.
Damn.
Meanwhile, Plo Koon hits-
People in chat are like, screw Ki-Adi-Mundi, that guy's a terrorist. What the fuck? What did he do? Wait, what did Ki-Adi-Mundi do? All right, maybe we'll do Ki-Adi-Mundi lore in the future. All right, calm down. Calm your titties, guys. There's a lot of lore to consume. Subscribe, because it'll all happen.
It's way different. This guy is super fleshed out in Clone Wars, probably because he's Dave Filoni's favorite. He has a special connection with Ahsoka as the one who found her and brought her to the temple.
Oh my god, that's so wholesome, bro. He's like the daddy character, too.
And he appears in a ton of episodes. It's actually really sad to see him die now, especially since he's the one who said that famous line about how clones aren't expendable to him.
Oh! He said he's the guy that said clones aren't expendable to him? God, that's so sad. What the fuck?
Speaking of which, the other key players in this scene are the clones. And at this point, I don't need to tell you that the clones are infinitely better fleshed out in Clone Wars than they are in the prequels. They all have individual personalities and aspirations, and they
God, I saw these two episodes.
feel like actual characters rather than plot devices. Most importantly, they form bonds with their Jedi generals, which makes it all the more heartbreaking when they break those bonds and shoot the Jedi down. This is a
Oh my god, we're just clones, sir. We're meant to be expendable. Not to me. Oh, that's heartbreaking! Oh my god, this is so sad! They make them real people! Okay, so how the fuck does this actually go down, though, in Clone Wars? That's what I want to see.
especially effective with Commander Cody, who we've gotten to see supporting Obi-Wan over the course of multiple episodes.
Oh my god, and then he says blast him! In an instant! In an instant! Execute Order 66. Okay, Chancellor, blast him!
It kinda stings that their relationship ends in heartbreak and attempted murder. But at the same time, making the clones into such well-rounded and likable individuals throughout the first 5 seasons of Clone Wars kinda makes their betrayal make even less sense.
True! You start getting attached to these clones and you're like, what the fuck? Why are they just killing machines? Brainless killing machines.
If they're not mindless drones who obey every order without question, then why would they turn on the Jedi with zero hesitation? I pondered this for a while as a kid, but fortunately, the answer finally came in the Season 6 Inhibitor Chip arc.
Inhibitor chip?
It's so hard to believe that arguably the most important Clone Wars arc in terms of its implications for the larger Star Wars canon almost didn't air because this was right when Disney took over and canceled the show. Thank God they got
God, fuck Disney, holy shit.
to finish these episodes for a release on Netflix because this arc really changes everything. I'm not gonna get too into it because again, Patrick and I are gonna get to this arc when we cover season 6. But basically, this storyline kicks off when Clone Trooper Tup suddenly shoots one of his Jedi generals.
Suddenly. Wait, inhibitor chip? They have fucking mind control chips that if you say Order 66, it literally mind controls them? And he somehow, his inhibitor chip got triggered early somehow, so he killed a Jedi? Oh my god. I can't, that's so much darker than what I was spoiled on. I was spoiled that it was like some kind of mind control, but this is so much worse. Like, it's literally baked into them that Order 66 turns them into killing machines to kill their own friends. Instant betrayal. What the fuck?
The Jedi and other clones are stunned
They really went crazy to build up these characters and give them personalities just to show you the tragedy of how they are forced to execute their friends.
by this, even though we as an audience can easily surmise that this is an accidental early instance of Order 66.
Oh
and
my
this is
God.
later explicitly confirmed within the arc. Tup is taken back to Kamino so the Kaminoans can run tests on him and discover the cause of his sudden urge to kill the Jedi. And by discover, I mean cover up, since the Kaminoans don't want the Jedi or the clones to know that the inhibitor chips placed inside of each clone's brain are meant to take away their free will and force them to carry out Order 66 when the time comes.
Oh my god. So it's not just... Fuck me. So it's not just tragic because these are characters that were mind controlled. It was tragic because they almost figured it out. They almost got away with it, but they just euthanized these characters to cover it up. Oh my fucking god. See, I actually made this comment when I was watching the Clone Wars before. The episode that specifically got copyrighted where Heavy died that I couldn't show you guys. But Star Wars The Clone Wars does one thing super well, and it's not that it'll surprise you with a scene, it's the fact that you know the tragedy is coming and they will still manage to make it fantastic. Like, for example, when Heavy died, Heavy sent them all out and Heavy sat in there with his minigun and the big bomb, okay? And he basically said, like, we all knew he is going to detonate the bomb manually because he couldn't figure out how to do it remotely. We knew he was going to detonate it manually and blow himself up and blow up all the droids that took over the base with them. We all knew that was coming. But even though we knew it was happening, over the span of 5 fucking minutes, we witness it happen. Him get shot, him get weakened, and him still fucking hit that bomb. Like, this is actual Greek tragedy. The Clone Wars is designed with us knowing that Order 66 is the finale of Clone Wars. We know Order 66 will be the high point. Every bit of character development that we get in the clones and these Jedi that die, every single ounce of character development is overshadowed by the impending tragedy that is about to unfold. It's a masterclass in storytelling. Oh my god. They're born without a personality. They're born without a name. They live their lives trying to find themselves, and then they lose their free will and betray their friends. I can't believe it. This is a fucking tragedy.
Tup's chip malfunctioned and caused him to execute the order too early, but the Kaminoans are trying to claim that a virus caused Tup to go haywire. However, Tup's buddy Fives conducts his own investigation and discovers that the inhibitor chips are inside of every clone. He manages to remove his chip and requests an audience with the Supreme Chancellor to tell him all about the Kaminoans' manipulation.
No, bro, what? He wanted a meeting with his... He thought it was the Kaminoans? He didn't realize it was the Supreme Chancellor who did that? No!
But uh-oh, it wasn't their manipulation. They were just following orders from Lord Tyrannus, aka Count Dooku.
Oh my god, they were so close. Fives even figured it out. But he trusted the wrong people. Oh my god!
Who was just following orders from Lord Sidious, aka the Chancellor.
So he wanted a meeting with the Chancellor. But why wouldn't he trust the Chancellor? The Chancellor is the most trusted guy in the fucking Senate. He had all the power. In retrospect, obviously, he should have gone to the Jedi. Obviously, if there was some sort of inhibitor chip command for him to kill Jedi, the first people you should go to is Jedi. But why wouldn't you trust Sidious?
Oh no! Yeah, Palpatine and the Kaminoans successfully cover Five's discovery up by drugging him, causing him to go a little crazy, and then pretending he attacked Palpatine, thus making the Jedi believe that the clones will go violent and berserk without their inhibitor chips in.
The inhibitor chips were... oh my god. They framed the inhibitor chips as the ones that keeping them from going violent. So of course the Jedi keep them all in. Oh my god, that is the most heinous fucking shit in the world. He gaslighted everyone into thinking they needed the inhibitor chip. And us watching, we're just watching, shaking our computers. No! How could you do this? No! But they can't hear you because you're a fucking real person and they're a TV show! And I can't believe that this is a layer of tragedy I never even began to expect that writing this good could be in Star Wars. Me watching Dora the Explorer as a 6-year-old. No! Dora, you idiot!
Ultimately, this arc ends in Five's tragic death, as he's gunned down by his own brothers. It's one of the greatest stories the Clone Wars ever told, with an unprecedented sense of eeriness to the
Dude, this is so dark. Oh my god.
proceedings because of its inevitable outcome. We know Fives' mission to warn the Jedi can't be successful, since Order 66 does eventually play out.
We know it happens, but we see how much worse it is when you actually get the full context.
As Palpatine intended. So it's especially tragic to watch this story and see just how close the Jedi were to learning of Palpatine's plot.
The tangible closeness. It's like, you know that he's gonna fail, because you know obviously Order 66 succeeds. So you know he's gonna fail, but there's still some part of you that's hoping he succeeds. And it's asinine. It's ridiculous. It's fucking stupid. There's a part of you that's hoping he succeeds. You know he's gonna fail. You know Order 66 happens. You know Anakin is going to the dark side. And you know the fucking Jedi Order is gonna get wiped out. But you're still hoping. But it's completely pointless hope. That's soul-crushing writing.
The existence of Order 66 at this point in the canon heightens the dramatic power of this arc, but the reverse is true even more so. This story does wonders to make Order 66 so much more compelling. By introducing the concept of the inhibitor chip, it reframes the clones as victims in Order 66.
True. They're not just fucking mindless drone soldiers. They're tragic creatures that have their free will stolen from them, forcing them to fucking execute and betray their best friends. Imagine a story that kills hope. That's what we're watching right now.
They never wanted to betray their Jedi generals, the heroes they fought alongside for years in battle after battle, conflict after conflict. We've had 5 seasons worth of clones and Jedi working together and bonding. So to know it all gets thrown away in a heartbeat once Palpatine flips the switch in their brains that causes this massive betrayal is just
tragic!
Beyond heartbreaking.
This is the worst thing I've ever seen! I can't believe it.
This arc also enhances the disturbing power of Order 66 through the use of 2 recurring lines. The first one being, good soldiers follow orders.
Bro, that's why this has been spammed in all my chats and comment sections. Good soldiers follow orders has been everywhere. I had no idea what this was about.
Tup keeps repeating this line before and after killing his Jedi general, and it's so alarmingly cold and robotic. He seems entirely entranced as he says it, unable to form any other thought. All that matters to him is the order, the directive to kill all Jedi.
Oh my fucking god. You are witnessing someone's free will be stolen from him in real time. Like, this is an unprecedented tragedy of storytelling. Almost Lovecraftian in its horror. I can't believe this shit. I have chills right now.
He needs to follow in order to be a good soldier. And this one line is so perfectly indicative of the horror of Order 66 from the clones' perspective. Their free will, their ability to think for themselves at all, has been snatched away in an instant. They've been reverted back to their original programming, which necessitates pure obedience to every order without question. It's a terrifying thought. The idea that these troopers we've grown to love over the course of
because we love these characters. These guys are awesome. This is so much worse than Sleeper Age and shit. Like, their free will stolen from them. This is worse than death. It's honestly worse than death. Bro, Palpatine really played the long con. Dude is unironically one of the most evil characters in all of fiction. I love how Star Wars is like, they did such a good job when it comes to writing good and evil. And then Disney shows up and is like, Star Wars is never really about good and evil.
This series were not only mere pawns in Sidious's quest for total galactic control, but completely unwitting pawns at that. Well, maybe not completely unwitting. The second recurring line in this arc is a reference to the mission, the nightmare in every clone's dreams. Tup speaks about it to Fives as he dies, and then Fives speaks about it to Rex during his own death.
Oh god, it's Rex that kills him too. Oh god.
The revelation that the clones are all subconsciously aware of the Order is gut-wrenching.
Oh god, in their dreams, in their nightmares, they have this idea that's just out of bounds, that they have some greater mission, and it torments them, and they can't grasp what it is. It's just in the folly of their subconscious mind. They can never touch it.
Deep in the back of their minds, they know it's coming one day, but they're powerless to stop themselves from carrying it out. The only escape from executing Order 66
is
death.
Oh my god, dude, this is fucking awful. This is awful. This is why fans are passionate when you retcon carefully designed series and lore. Dude, this is next level good writing. There is I can't believe how insane in retrospect Order 66 is.
Tup and Fives express relief at finally being free of the horrific nightmare, or rather, premonition of what their futures hold. If that doesn't bring a whole new angle of tragedy to Order 66...
Every single clone is carrying this subconscious weight, this trauma of this mission.
Then I don't know what does. It fits in so perfectly without retconning anything. We can watch this scene knowing that Cody never wanted to betray Obi-Wan and order him shot down. It was all the machinations of the chip. But like, yeah, we know that's what's going on in canon now, but we also know that that's not how this scene was originally filmed.
Honestly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because nothing was ever retconned. As long as you don't retcon shit, this is beautiful. The fact that you could interpret a piece of art this way and build up an entire inhibitor chip shit, that's awesome. Like, this is not the same as the Acolyte fucking, I don't know, sticking their dick in the ass of Star Wars lore.
The inhibitor chips didn't exist back when George initially wrote Revenge of the Sith, and even if that was his idea for why the clones betray the Jedi, it definitely doesn't come across at all in this movie. You essentially...
As it shouldn't, because the clones were never characters in this movie. The focus was never on the clones as characters, so you never needed that.
Need knowledge of the TV show that came out years after the fact to appreciate the full range of the tragedy at play here.
But the reason why it doesn't matter is because I will watch this scene now and interpret it that way. That's the beauty of art. That's what art is. It's your interpretation of what happens. So if they could fill in the background enough and introduce different plot threads and perspectives to the point that I will watch this and I will subjectively regard Order 66 as a tragedy, then they succeeded.
And that's not ideal, I'm not gonna lie. Still, for years, Revenge of the Sith was all we had in terms of canon visual depictions of Order 66. Like I said earlier, the Disney buyout resulted in the cancellation of Clone Wars, but
dude, we're gonna fucking watch this South Park Disney video for sure, for real. We're watching the South Park episode on Twitch, maybe next time. Nah, maybe not, I have another one planned, but we're definitely adding this to the list.
Before it could reach its intended conclusion, a depiction of Order 66 from the perspectives of Ahsoka and Captain Rex, two characters invented for the Clone Wars show that didn't appear in Revenge of the Sith. But for many years following the airing of the Clone Wars' 6th and final season, we never got to see that unfold on screen.
That's Darth Bane showing up as a flashback, right?
Season 6 dropped a bombshell on us in terms of the inner workings of Order 66, without the show ever getting a chance to portray the event itself on its own terms, in a post-inhibitor chip...
Wait! Order 66 happens in Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 7? I thought The Clone Wars ended before Revenge of the Sith. It actually bleeds into the Revenge of the Sith timeline? Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Oh, God.
Canon. The idea of ever seeing new depictions of this tragic moment seemed entirely implausible, thanks in no small part to the franchise's new corporate overlords appearing to shun all prequel content in favor of hardcore pandering to the original trilogy. It's
huge L, by the way.
Seemed like the end of Order 66's story.
But...
Until it wasn't.
Nani?
Call it an altruistic miracle. Call it Disney finally waking up and realizing that prequel nostalgia pandering was just as lucrative as original trilogy nostalgia pandering.
Yeah!
But whatever the reason, Disney announced that the Clone Wars would be given one last season.
That's crazy! Oh my god, this is after the reveal of the inhibitor chip. Oh god, dude!
And in it, a chance to finally conclude with its intended final arc, depicting the siege...
Oh, intended, so it was already written.
...of Mandalore.
Wait, the Siege of Mandalore was already supposed to be the final arc? Oh my god.
And Order 66. Like most Clone Wars fans, I was ecstatic. But little did I know that this announcement was just the first piece of what would become a renaissance of Order 66 content.
This art is awesome. Dude, Darth Maul with the fucking frills.
And in fact, there was one other visual Disney-era depiction of Order 66 that came out beforehand. But before we talk about all this heavy stuff, let's take a break to talk about websites.
Yeah!
You know, the thing Fives could have used to publish his findings about the inhibitor chip.
No, don't say that! Fives could have just made a tweet. He could have just dropped a tweet on Twitter and everyone would have known. No!
Or to stop Order 66 before it started. That's the power of websites, baby.
Oh,
and you can make your own using
Skillshare, Squarespace.
Load speed by mobile presence. Domain calls over. If you're ready, a website or Jedi Padawan domain Jedi
Yeah, anywho. Alright, where does this keep going?
Fallen Order is a game where you play as Cal Kestis, a former Jedi Padawan who's gone into hiding in the 5 years following the Jedi Purge.
Fuck, everyone told me I needed to do Jedi Fallen Order lore.
It's a pretty good game. I played it when it first came out and I really enjoyed it. Throughout the game, you occasionally flash back to your training with your Jedi Master. Okay. And I didn't really think anything of it. I was like, oh, okay, that's a cute little flashback. Didn't seem necessary, but it was nice, I guess. Eventually, you get to this one flashback where you're vibing with the clones on the way to your training. It's cute to see Cal being friends with these guys.
Alright.
One of them even gives you a high five. How
Oh, fuck. I see where this is going.
wholesome. You complete your training and make your way to your master, where everything seems A-okay. And then it happens.
Master, are you okay?
I actually
Wait, execute Order 66 just happens and you play it as a flashback. Oh my god.
gasped when I saw this part. It was obvious they were building up.
Bro, and he cooks him.
Are you okay?
Right, he
I
starts sensing. He senses the violence that's about to happen to the Jedi. These clones are their friends. Oh my god.
actually gasped when I saw this part.
And holy fuck, he annihilated that dude. God damn.
It was obvious they were building up to this with the flashback scenes in hindsight, but somehow this just threw me entirely for a loop when I first played this. I saw these flashbacks as a chance to get some temporary relief from the horrors of Cal's current reality.
But then you realize the real horror was the flashbacks. You were gonna live through Order 66. Oh my god, actual chills again. Dude, this video is changing my entire fucking perspective. My entire perspective of the tragedy that is Order 66.
But of course that didn't last. We all knew going into this game that it wouldn't. And yet,
Right, we know the Master's gonna die here in Order 66, or else you'd have another Jedi Master that survived it.
I never would have expected this game to suddenly—
Bro, you play a child trying to survive a genocide. This is awful.
throw me into the shoes of a young
The real horror is the friends we made along the way. For real, for real.
Padawan having to escape Order 66. In my opinion, this sequence is not only the best part of the game, but a far more compelling depiction of Order 66 than what Revenge of the Sith offered. Part of that is due to the interactivity of it all, but you also have to give credit to the way it was built up to and framed. By making it clear that the clones are Cal's friends, it makes their betrayal sting all the harder.
God
and by
damn.
planting Sidious's hologram in the background of the scene, it better puts you into the shoes of these bewildered Jedi. Jaro Tapal is having a
Right, he's just having a meltdown here.
terrifying vision,
Because all the Jedi around the world are getting killed, while he just gets a phone call.
and Cal is concerned if his master is okay. Neither of them
No one's even paying attention to the fact that he just got a phone call. Bro.
even notice that Palpatine's order is what initiated this. It perfectly reflects just how out of nowhere the whole situation was for the Jedi. Running through the halls of the ship in constant fear of the clones catching you, as you hear John Williams' brilliant Order 66 score playing over everything, is just such an indescribable feeling. It's made even more potent by the fact that we got to know Cal over the course of the game.
Oh my god, this is tragic. I can't believe it. I'm like, my breath is taken away from me. You are... Dude, this is Star Wars Dark Souls. What the fuck?
Heightening the emotional investment of his urgent escape even more. In the end, his master
Oh my god, and he ends up dying. You watch the Master die. Falls to the hands of this Order 66. Killed by his former friends.
is shot down, dying right before him as one of the best music tracks from Revenge of the Sith, Anakin's Dark Deeds, plays. It's such a tremendously powerful sequence.
And still, even though he's shot with his dying breath, he fights them off so his Padawan could escape. So someone could survive this mindless genocide.
Even if Cal's scream at the end is a little bit silly. So yeah,
Alright, whatever. We could let it.
between its build-up, framing, and unprecedented level of emotional investment, this was pretty much the best canon interpretation of Order 66. For about 6 months.
Oh my god, they really cook! They really cook so hard! There's another one?
Or so.
Bro.
The final arc of Clone Wars is a masterpiece.
Oh,
one
God.
of the greatest Star Wars stories of all time. It flawlessly
Fuck, that's a big take. Oh god, where is this going? Oh god.
Manages to simultaneously serve as a sequel to 3 of the show's greatest storylines. Maul's takeover of Mandalore, Ahsoka's expulsion from the Jedi Order.
Ahsoka gets expelled from the Jedi Order? Nani? Okay, alright, I guess we gotta do Ahsoka lore.
Maul's takeover of Mandalore.
Maul, I can't believe Maul's back. But I already did a Jedi dive, a Sith dive, so I do know that Maul comes back. And I did see Obi-Wan kick his ass and kill him in a second.
Ahsoka's expulsion from the Jedi Order, and our previous topic of discussion in this video, the inhibitor chip mystery. We all knew going in that this arc would overlap with the events of Revenge of the Sith, and they make this fact explicitly clear multiple times throughout these episodes.
That's crazy. So you actually see Order 66 from the perspective of Clone Wars, a character piece focused on the Jedi that are killed and the clones that are the killers.
It's obvious throughout this siege of Mandalore, where Ahsoka's leading troops in an effort to capture Maul and free Mandalore from his influence, that these are indeed the end times. Throughout the second episode in this arc, Maul appears to be in constant fear of something. Some sort of major shift in the power dynamics of the galaxy that ties back to Darth Sidious.
Oh my god. Wait, even Maul was scared of Order 66? Maul's a Sith. Even he was scared of Order 66?
We know what he's talking about, but Ahsoka and her allies don't.
Again, it's this gripping horror, the impending doom that we know happens. We have to watch these characters that we've grown attached to not even begin to comprehend the tragedy that's about to unfold.
And that's one of the many reasons this arc is so potent. Because not only do we know that Order 66 is gonna happen sooner or later, but also, it's an event so horrifying that it has Maul, of all characters, constantly on edge.
That's scary as shit. He's still connected to the Force. He's no longer a Sith. Well, I guess he's a Darksider then, right? Because he's not connected to a Sith. Because right now the two Sith are Dooku and what's his face. So I guess he's technically not a Sith because they still have the rule of 2. But he is attached to the dark side, obviously.
This seemingly fearless, ruthless Sith Lord is terrified out of his mind over what Sidious has in store. So much so that after being bested by Ahsoka in combat, he begs her to let him die.
Dude, and you know it's coming! And he knows it's coming! And you, the viewer, are powerless to do anything to warn your friends.
Screaming hysterically at her and the clones. Maul is finally captured, but nothing about the following proceedings are celebratory. The tension at the beginning of the third episode in this arc is so palpable. We got this eerie, haunting music, paired up with these incredibly long takes. And throughout it all, you just can't look away. You keep thinking, is this gonna be the moment it finally happens?
Oh my god, right? Because you're waiting, you're on edge. And it's just taking its time. It's like when you're fighting a boss in Elden Ring and they just have a really delayed attack and you're just rolling. You're trying to be best to roll to dodge the attack. You're rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling and the delayed attack hits you. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, God. This is a nightmare. A nightmare. Is this the clip that I'm thinking of? Like, there's someone made an animation.
Ow!
Dude, you're waiting! You're waiting! And he's holding it back! He's just delaying it more! And then it comes down. You know, bro, it's that idea, bro, of just, you know it's happening. It could be any time now.
More than anything, this is an episode that knows exactly what it has in terms of its story content and uses brilliant directorial techniques to keep you on the edge of your seat throughout the first 10 minutes. Ahsoka and Rex have a brief conversation reflecting on the war and how despite all the horror and heartbreak it caused, at least it allowed the clones to exist and for Rex and Ahsoka to be friends.
Even though you know that ends, bro, the friendship forged in tragedy.
And it's like, Fuck, man. We know what's coming. The build-up here is even more heartbreaking than it was in Jedi Fallen Order, because in that case, we only just got to know Cal, and we don't know the clones that betrayed his trust. But here, we've had a...
Fuck. Dude, I can't believe it. You see them together. You literally see them together. They're best friends. And you know it's about to happen. Oh my god.
whole series getting to know Ahsoka and Rex. We know what they've been through together. We know how much they trust each other. And yes, due to the existence of Star Wars Rebels, we know it ultimately will work out for them in the end.
Oh.
But that doesn't lessen the supreme power of this one paradigm-shifting moment.
Execute Order 66.
Oh my god, it actually happens. It actually happens.
The way Rex's pupils dilate, as if he's been possessed.
Oh,
the way
God.
he shakes and drops his helmet to the ground. The way he resists the chip's
Oh my god. This is that. I've seen this screenshot.
programming just long enough to tell Ahsoka to find Fives and uncover the truth.
Oh my god, he's literally holding himself back. Best friends? 6 seasons of character development and relationships. And like a dog, he has no force. No power to resist.
All of this done with no music. Just eerie
And he's just holding his guns up. He's saying, run!
silence before the chip finally forces him to shoot, resulting in the same blaring tragic music we heard as Cal mourned his master. The track Anakin's Dark Deeds has become somewhat of an anthem for this terrifying event, and it's a perfect encapsulation of the pure horror felt by everyone involved. While
Oh my god. Rex. These characters. These... Oh god, I can't believe it. Dude. This scene is horrifying.
just long enough
Wait, are these dominoes on their helmets? This
to
isn't
tell
the,
Ahsoka to
This isn't the Domino
find
Squad.
Fives and uncover the truth. All of
Is that the Domino Squad? Like the clones we follow the whole way, the whole time in Rex's crew? The homies from the beginning? You know all these characters. You know them. They're a family. The 501st. They painted their helmets in her honor. Oh my god, I'm actually so sad.
While Revenge of the Sith portrayed Order 66 and then swiftly moved along to cover Palpatine's declaration of the Empire and the conclusion of Anakin's fall, these 2 final Clone Wars episodes are allowed to fully focus on Order 66 and allow it to hold even greater dramatic weight than ever before. After Ahsoka learns the truth, she captures Rex and removes his inhibitor chip, meaning we not only get a Jedi's reaction to this event, but a freed clone's as well.
Oh my god, I never even considered that. What would a clone's reaction be when he knows that he did this?
And seeing such a stoic and strong character like Rex cry at the thought of having to kill his brothers is just brutal. That's not even mentioned.
And Rex was like, he was a badass, a hardened badass. He would put his life on the line every episode. Dude was like the actual GOAT.
How the animation on the clones is specifically designed to be more robotic once the chip kicks in, or the insane dramatic
They changed the animation style.
irony of the helmets depicting Ahsoka's markings now belonging to unwitting, mindless drones forced to shoot her down. The final episode also makes surviving Order 66 look like the near impossible feat that it was in canon. Like, by comparison, it makes it seem like Obi-Wan and Yoda's clones didn't really try that hard to take them out. No one could have survived that fall, my ass.
True! These are killers, friends, betrayal.
Now, I don't want to diss the original scene too much. It's good, and it laid the groundwork for all Order
My next shit, I'm going to be watching this fucking Order 66 scene again.
66 content we have now. But everything about the final 2 episodes of Clone Wars speaks to a true evolution of the directorial and storytelling capabilities of Order 66.
Dude, this is insane. And apparently the clones, they have another rule that you could follow to stop Order 66. It's called Order 34, and Ahsoka works with Rex to stop it. So if you look up Ahsoka Rule 34, you might be able to actually find out a little more about this. I know because I've done the lore deep dives, but just in case you were curious.
Everything from the slow, methodical, tension-filled build-up, to the raw power of the moment it finally happens, to the ensuing nail-biting escape, and ultimately, the supremely tragic aftermath.
Oh my god, burying her friends. Because ultimately, even though they all betrayed her, air quotes, you know, they air quotes, they all betrayed her. But at the same time, and much more realistically, their agency was stolen from them. They're her friends. She remembers them as friends, not traitors. This is heartbreaking.
The burial of these heroes who became victims of a cruel plot in their last moments.
Oh my god.
This arc serves as one of the greatest series finales ever made, while also doing full justice to the concept of Order 66. That's where I figured the depictions of this event would end. But little did I know, there was still more to come.
Oh my god! They knew what they knew! They struck gold with Order 66!
The first episode of the Clone Wars spin-off show, The Bad Batch, opens in the same way any Clone Wars episode would, with exciting narration introducing us to the context of the battle we're about to see.
God, I love the way the Clone Wars episodes start. In a galaxy far, far away, many clones are finding a way to survive Order 34!
It's a simple clones versus droids skirmish with Master Depa Billaba and her Padawan Caleb commanding the clones. Hey, he looks familiar, I wonder where he's from. Anyway, the Bad Batch come in to wreck shit up, and all is well. Except, the opening narration made it clear that we're in Revenge of the Sith territory timeline-wise.
Oh shit.
And so, once again, we get to see Order 66 depicted.
Oh no!
This time from the perspective of Kanan Jarrus. And once again, it starts with sheer silence when the order is given, before transitioning to dramatic music once Kanan realizes what's going on. We hear certain parts of Anakin's dark deeds mixed in with a new score. Or maybe it's a returning score from Rebels, I honestly wouldn't know, I never finished it. But ultimately, Billaba is shot down as Kanan runs off.
Oh my god,
now, this
tragic!
depiction of this scene is different from a comic that previously portrayed it, which is weird, and I kinda like the comic version a bit better.
Big surprise! Oh, shock of all shocks. Disney adapted a comic and made it worse. No one would have seen that coming.
But I also just wanted to stick to the main visual interpretations of Order 66 for this video. Ultimately, both versions of how this scene went down are great and enhance the scenes in Rebels where Kanan has to be reminded of Order 66 and all the pain, betrayal, and heartbreak he felt. Back to the Bad Batch. They're, oddly enough, just as confused as the Jedi. They don't know what Order 66 means.
What? They don't have inhibitor chips? There's one bad batch of clones?
And they want to go help Kanan.
That's so cool!
Except for Crosshair, who fires at Kanan and repeats those chilling words.
Oh my god. He doesn't say good soldiers follow orders.
Good soldiers follow orders.
Oh god, bone chilling! Honestly! Stealing people of their agency like this is insane!
It's such a potent way to reveal that Crosshair's inhibitor chip is actually working, even while the rest of the Bad Batch's chips seem to be broken. After Kanan manages to escape thanks to Hunter covering for him, the Bad Batch is called back to Kamino, where they notice all the clones acting strange, cold, robotic. The Bad Batch try to make sense of why the clones turned on Master Billaba, and I find this conversation so compelling.
Dude, imagine these are just clones, outsider clones, trying to figure out why their brothers betrayed their friends.
Because it's our first glimpse at how clone troopers, with their original personalities and values before the inhibitor chip wipes those out, would react to Order 66. I'm sure any of the other clones we met over the course of the previous series
would have had the same exact reactions. The clones just became hostile NPCs, bro.
Would have similar conversations if their programming allowed for it. But of course, it doesn't. And that's what tech correctly theorizes is the reason for the clones' sudden betrayal and robotic nature. Programming the Kaminoans performed on them that doesn't affect the Bad Batch because of their unique enhancements. And yet, it still managed to affect Crosshair, who continues to argue that Hunter let Kanan escape and that they should have just followed orders without questioning them. It makes for such a compelling conflict between a half-brainwashed clone and his non-brainwashed comrades.
Bro, that's crazy. Looking into these characters, they're called the Bad Batch because they had errors in their cloning process, and one of the errors was the inhibitor chips didn't work. And it seems like for Crosshair, it half worked, right? He didn't become fully robotic, but he still has this innate desire to follow orders without question.
Again, a whole new angle to view Order 66 from. That's about it in terms of discussing the Bad Batch. The inhibitor chips do have lasting consequences in later episodes, but
God, and they're all just cheering for the Emperor.
Discussing the Bad Batch. The inhibitor chips
they're all just cheering that these guys, mindless drones at this point.
Consequences in later episodes, but we pretty much covered everything surrounding Order 66 in this show. Anyway, that seems like it should be it in terms of modern Order 66 interpretations, right?
I guess. Oh,
No, idiot.
Never
We have
mind.
to talk about everyone's favorite show.
What?
The Book of Boba Fett
Ah, no, everyone hated the Book of Boba Fett. No.
features an entire episode mostly dedicated to Luke Skywalker training Baby Yoda. If that doesn't tell you what a gigantic clusterfuck this show was, I don't know what will.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
But this episode features a flashback Grogu has to Order 66. There's not really a whole lot
Wait, Baby Yoda was there for Order 66?
to say here, it's just clones shooting Jedi from Grogu's perspective. It's interesting to see how he suppressed this traumatic memory for so many years. And I feel like we might see more of this flashback in the future, since we still don't know who saved him from the Jedi Temple. So I guess that's an indication that new interpretations of Order 66 are gonna keep coming out.
That's crazy. I mean, I feel like they know they hit gold. I feel like the only Disney works that in the Star Wars world, the only Disney works that were actually appreciated were the ones that expanded on Order 66. So I feel like they knew they struck gold, and I'm afraid they're just gonna wear it out until it's dead. But dude, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy.
We've had 4 in the past 4 years, and the more new Star Wars stories get told, the more angles we'll potentially get to see for this paradigm shifting.
Because Order 66 is the Jedi Holocaust. Okay, this is a big fucking deal. It is a big ass deal, and they are making sure you know that now. I don't know. I feel like the Clone Wars was amazing. The Bad Batch one was like, okay, that's cool, I guess. It's an interesting perspective. The Grogu one really kind of feels like a nothing where they're just referencing a famous Star Wars moment. But most importantly, the Clone Wars, building up the clones for 7 seasons just to tear you down is like epitome Greek tragedy.
Event. So now let's bookend things and return to that original scene from Revenge of the Sith.
Dude, I'm just waiting for the end of the Acolyte. The Sith in the fucking helmet is gonna turn to his Padawan, Darth Plagueis the Wise, and say, remember to use force impregnation to impregnate a random slave woman on Tatooine, and also to get a fucking genocidal group of clones that you could brainwash. And then he dies, because Lord Plagueis kills him. That's gonna be the end of the Acolyte, you know what I'm saying?
It's still the same scene as it was back in 2005, but it really does feel
This is what they call, it hits different.
much more meaningful and significant these days. Now when I watch it, I'm invested in the characters dying and the ones being forced to carry out the order. Plus, I not only see the Jedi on screen, but I picture Ahsoka, Cal, Kanan, Grogu, Rex, Jesse, all the new characters we've grown to love over the years since this movie came out, who all suffered at the exact same time.
That's crazy. That is some brilliant ass writing. Like, they made Order 66 the actual pinnacle of the prequel era, and they really enhanced the shit out of that.
Don't get me wrong, all this supplemental material enhancing the story being told in this movie doesn't automatically make the movie itself better.
No, but it makes the scene better. It makes the emotional climax better. It makes Star Wars lore better.
But it does make the viewing experience better and more impactful. And I can't help but get emotional with this scene nowadays. I mean, it's a well-constructed scene, even if you hate the movie overall and you don't have the context for all the new Order 66 material.
Unironically, this was the best Star Wars movie ever made. I know I'm gonna get hate for that take. I know people are gonna hate on me. People are gonna say, oh, but the original trilogy is the best. Revenge of the Sith is the best Star Wars movie ever made.
The cinematography.
In my personal, very, very, very personal opinion. Maybe it's just because I watched this shit in theaters as a kid and it literally was awesome, but I don't know. This movie was fucking great.
Photography and editing are really strong. The music is beyond phenomenal. It's a good, strong scene. Definitely not the best depiction of Order 66 in the entire series, but it did the extremely important job of laying the groundwork for some of the most amazing scenes and stories in all of Star Wars. It took a while for this moment to reach its full dramatic potential, but it was absolutely worth it.
It did. It did. 7 seasons of the Clone Wars, literally to build up to this one moment.
In the end. And like I said, this might not even be the end for Order 66. I can't wait to see what other horrific, compelling depictions of it
and what terrible Disney abominations there are to show you how actually the Jedi deserved Order 66, because most of them are white.
we'll get in the future.
Yeah!
Anyway, if you enjoyed this video and want more Revenge of the Sith content, I'm also releasing a long-ass YouTube poop of the movie and its supplemental material today
Hell yeah.
on my second channel, Shave Classic.
Dude, this video was great. Shafrillis Productions, brother, you killed it. You absolutely killed it. This video was fucking phenomenal. Order 66 really is incredible, isn't it? Oh my god. Oh my god. This was a really, really good fucking video. Holy shit. I'm really happy I decided to go down the Star Wars lore rabbit hole, because goddamn, there is so much here and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. Bye. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, man.